Yesterday's mission to make a better Countach, I think went pretty darn well, or at least I should say, a couple of days ago, and I was pretty happy with how it turned out, but it got me thinking about the Aston Martin Cygnet. You know that, like, weird European law that came out, and that meant that Aston Martin had to make a fuel-efficient car to offset its, like, behemoth engines that output a huge amount of carbon? Well, that got me thinking, like, what if in an alternate universe the fleet laws didn't exist and if Ferrari was bought by Ford and that just meant that every car company had to do a similar thing? So, it got me thinking about my favoriteest car, and it's the car that Ferrari would have chosen, because Ferrari wouldn't have gone with anything less than something like the XR4. And that got me thinking, you know what? They would take that car, the first thing they would do is they would put vents on it. Everywhere. And then they would touch up the engine a little bit. And this is a naturally aspirated 2-liter, so I mean, you can't expect a huge amount from it, and also, we went with a fairly reasonable, absolutely choked fuel mixture. So this is doing pretty darn well. It couldn't do much better even if it tried. You also notice that I kept the original cast pistons in this thing, giving us this absolutely gorgeous behemoth. And yes, I do realize that the badge hasn't quite come out the way I would want it to. Automation to BeamMP with mods, not always the smoothest function in the world. But yes, here is our vehicle, covered in vents and grills more than usual, with a little bit of a power boost, because there's no way that Ferrari would do what the Cygnet did, which is just to give it a bit of a facelift. They would need to touch every single thing with this car. Wide-bodied, as you see, big wheels. I mean, the car came with big wheels, lots of vents, all those sorts of things. Now, I know that this doesn't look exactly like a Ford Fiesta ST, or here in Australia, the XR4. Much like the car that I have out in my driveway right now, kind of actually just sitting there and a little bit dilapidated. But oh my god, I love it so much, and I just wanted to make this the next car of my Focus. Even though it's not a Ford Focus, it's a Ford Fiesta. But now it's the Fakerarri Citi. Let's give it a bit of a go. Yes, we have a little bit of wheel spin. That is a minor bit of a problem, but the handling on it is still really, really nice. And we're not just going to be driving this around Italy today, because this is a Friday Bike Day. But first, let's actually see how this car does as a city car. And oh my god, that thing kicks up a huge amount of wheel spin. Handbrake you turn in here, nice. The thing has so much traction, and it has only a little bit of downforce on the rear to keep it in check when going at high speeds, but at any other time, this car is actually not with any sort of downforce. I was wondering what that sound was. It's the church bell, which is a sound that they have going constantly here. I mean, I wish it didn't, but what can you do? I am quite enjoying this, and I would take this right over to Pikes Peak right now, but I really, like, that's going to create for a very short video because it's not a super fast car, and super fast cars can go up Pikes Peak in, non-super fast cars. I'm not sure what I said. My brain is not working too well. I am so fatigued still, but yeah. So, the video would be over in like 5 minutes, and we don't want that. So, let's quickly go over and see how we built this car ever so quickly, and then we'll take it up Pikes Peak. What do you guys reckon? Well, I can't hear what you're saying, so let's just go over anyway. So we went with a 2020, even though this car would realistically be a turbo version nowadays. They would probably want to still use the older naturally aspirated version, because they only used turbos when they really, really needed to for ruling reasons. Otherwise, they would absolutely get pummeled into the ground. So I get the feeling that they would go with the naturally aspirated style engine. And straight away, we can see here we're using the regular old steel, monocoque steel, front transverse, some McPherson struts, and a semi-trailing arm, which is the sort of thing that they had. Also, the semi-trailing arm, some of you may know this from the BMWs, which made them absolutely dangerous, but no, this is a Ford car So they designed it really well, which I think was called like some sort of blade suspension or something like that. Switchblade? I don't know. Something, and it works really, really well here. As for the engine, we went with our regular 2-liter engine made of aluminium, some dual overhead cams, cast stuff, just very generic stuff. We haven't gone overboard on the camshaft because we do need to keep that fuel mileage down. But the head would be ported out a little bit for a little bit of extra, you know, oomph to the vehicle without increasing the fuel usage a lot. But we're going with a more modern version of the engine, even though it's not a turbocharged one. We're going with direct injection. We're going with just a regular old manifold, and it's going to be a performance one. So that's kind of what they had already. Though this one has been uprated to a premium fuel, it's using the bare minimum fuel amount. This thing is absolutely running lean. A little bit of extra ignition timing, a little bit more RPM limit. Let's do a quick little bit of math now. So that's 122 basically kilowatts to horsepower. That's 163 horsepower. Yeah, that's about 12 kilowatts more than what the original car had. So I'm pretty good with that. You know, a little bit of a tune, a little bit of an exhaust, but also kept as lean as possible to be able to hit that fleet emissions target rule, which was brought in. And yeah, I painted a little bit, went with a nicer, older style valve cover because I don't like the newer design valve covers. If we go here to Space Age, that just doesn't look good. It looks like a Nissan RB20 something or other, but yeah, so that's what we went with. We went for the coupe hatchback 3-door edition. As for the design, you can see that I've chucked in a bunch of things in here and then kind of covered them up a little bit to make them blend quite nicely. Some more vents here, wide-bodied, some cool mirrors, lots of detail on the front. So one of the things that they would have been able to do easily with these sorts of cars is put on a much different front bumper area. And that's what we did. We went all bonkers on the bumper because that is the most important thing. And then Ford uses these on other cars, so they just grabbed them and put them on here. Here you can see I should probably increase the gearing on this thing. What is the theoretical top speed? It's only knocking off about 30 kilometers an hour. I do much prefer the acceleration to get there. My 0 to 100 though isn't really much better. The original car was 8.4 seconds and this is, it's an entire second quicker. Okay, yeah, now we're quite good here. We're going with a sports combat. I don't want to go semi-slicks because once again, that fuel mileage, as you can see here, it's pretty darn good. 44.8 miles per gallon. That's done pretty well. Some alloy wheels, you know, keep it nice and cheap so it's not overly overpriced. My brakes here are a little bit weak. I probably could have done something here with some brake pad types, but it's kept fairly basic because we don't have a lot of downforce. We only have that little itsy bitsy wing on the rear. But with the interior, we went with just probably a little bit of a tweaked more than the standard interior. Kept it a 5-seater, you know, just the general basics of things. Nothing too particularly special here. Safety probably would have been trimmed down a little bit by Ferrari because these Italian cars, they're not so much on the safety side of things. It doesn't really need to be. But I'm also noticing that we're like 200 kilograms heavier. How'd that happen? Anyway, here's our suspension setup. If you want to have a look, it is much more harsh than the original car. I need to drop that weight down though. That is way too much. Oh, but I've already done tweaking to the materials. As you'll notice that I don't have things that normal people have, which is like high reflective parts that are not meant to be reflective. Because I went through the materials and I changed everything up and I don't want to do that again. So we're just going to have to live with it the way it is. It is better than the original car. So let's just go take it over to Pikes Peak anyway. Now this is a new thing that I've started spotting recently, is for some reason it chuffs out a lot of smoke, and I think that might have to do with the engine warming up and the catalytic converter warming up, because if you start revving it for a while, you do that for a little bit of time and it will go clear, but we'll just see how long it takes. There we go. I don't know how much time that was because I wasn't paying a close amount of attention, but we will have that in the edit, so you'll be able to see how long that took, but it does go away. That is a very, very weird thing. Maybe it has to do with the thought pattern of having steam. No, it came back. That is weird. I do not understand that. But anyway, that's the thing we live with now. Let's try taking this thing up the short track, and we're going to see how it compares to other cars on this one, because this one will be easy to knock out now that I've got the timer and everything working for Pikes Peak. Previously, this has been absolutely total jank, but they've got it working again recently. Okay, lots of understeer through there, unfortunately. Maybe this thing does need to be about 200 kilograms lighter, but I feel like I want to do an absolute stripped out race version of this at some point. So I don't want to go overboard right now, kind of like what somebody did with the Aston Martin Cygnet. So you'll know that that's like a very basic Toyota, I believe it was called the Igo. I don't think it ever came here to Australia, but one of the guys commissioned the Aston Martin guys to put one of their, I believe, a V8 in it, which made it absolutely crazy. And I kind of want to feel as if they'll do the same thing to this, so I'm going to probably grab myself a Ferrari spec and call it a Fakerarri because I don't want to get sued by Ferrari because they are overly litigious. And then, yeah, try it out in this thing to see what it would be like if Ferrari was to acquiesce to their request. Whatever that guy says in that Pirates movie. That thing. Anyway, we've made it up here in our first go fairly smooth. We're only losing a little bit of frame rate when we're braking, unfortunately. It kind of sucks a little bit. So I can't actually tell how slow it is as I'm entering into a corner. But I can brake really, really late. Even with that extra weight, we're not going particularly fast. And also, it is actually just a well-tuned car. The brakes are pretty good. The tires are really, really wide. It's really pulling its weight quite nicely. I would love to upgrade my car to something like this. Actually, there is a body kit that costs like $1,000 or $2,000 or whatever for a rally spec version of this car, and I would love to do that to my Ford Fiesta, but I can't really afford it. Those things are really, really super expensive, and also to like install a body work like that. By the end of it, even if you do everything yourself, you still have to paint it, and to get a good paint job is really, really hard and a lot of work. But if I was to get a professional to do it, which is probably how I would do it, it would cost a small fortune. So I know that the paint job that Tavares had done on his Lamborghini was like a very special one, but even still, that cost $30-something thousand. Even if I was to decimate that, that's still a lot of money. My God, that guy spent a lot of money on that Lamborghini, though it is still, like, the car became worth a lot, and I hear that he's bought another one. I saw a video feed pop up and watched a little bit of it where apparently Tavares just bought himself a second Lamborghini that was from the same movie, and I think that's just absolutely bonkers of him. Where does he get all this money? YouTubers play it off as like, oh, I don't make a lot of money on YouTube. Oh, fuck you! Come on! Oh dear God. Okay, 3 minutes 18. Let's go compare that. Oh, that puts it in last place. By quite a bit, too. That's really unfortunate. I was hoping that it would be faster than this car, but I suppose I actually have to do some real work to make it as fast as that. So, let's do a little bit of guesstimation. Oh no, it's gonna be the fastest non-joke or something like that car. So, it's gonna be slower than this, but it's definitely gonna be faster than the potato. Please God, be faster than the potato. Now, I know that that was a sloppy, messy lap. But, I mean, I didn't expect it to be quite so bad. So we're gonna take this one around all the way up through the entire map. And then we're gonna take it over and do just a little bit of a drag race. I wanna see what sort of time this puts down. If it puts down better than a 15-second, I'll be really, really happy. Because, once again, this is only a slightly uprated version of the main car. But then, oh God, okay. Okay, yep, please. Play nice, good, okay. Yeah, oh God, okay, well. We're gonna go into quiet mode for this one, go full tryhard mode. Now it's time for Mr. Voicey Ovi. Woo! Yeah, anyway, so this lap was
fairly uneventful, but I did need to give it my full attention. Nobody's driving up Pikes Peak ever and thinking, you know what? This doesn't require my full attention. And if they are thinking that, then maybe they're not the best, and they're the sort of person that would make a mistake. But I myself never make a mistake like that one just then. Nope, not at all. But yeah, I mean, going up this hill, it's a really nice car to take around, and this will be on my public server on BeamMP if you want to try this car out. For most cars, that's where I'm going to be putting my cars for now. But also, if you do like my stuff, I'd like to now try to spruik my channel by saying, please like, comment, and if you aren't subscribed, please subscribe. If you think I deserve more than my 1,500 or so subscribers, which I am very happy for, then yeah, you'll be able to get to see more of this.
No! Stop! Stop rolling! Stop! Oh no. Oh, it's completely bung up now. It doesn't want to turn left. Shite. Alright, that's fine. Let's just try to shortcut it.
Yeah, so it ruined quite a, decent lap up to this point. Sure, it's not going to be setting anybody's pants on fire, but it is a really fun car. For a car that wouldn't be super duper expensive, not cheap, like, the Aston Martin Cygnet, which was a touch-up Toyota IQ.
Well, I finished a lap. I mean, it wasn't a particularly good one, but let's see how it compares. Yep. Right at the last of the real cars. Not the potato car, and not the super hyper miler jank piece of jankness. Also, faster than the house. Obviously faster than the house. They will interfere with the collision mesh. Oh god! No, no, no! Oh dear. That was quite the wipeout. Let's go to a bit of a free cam here and have a bit of a look. Yeah, that's really, really dented in there on the rear. That was quite the unfortunate incident. The front, you can see that we have a little bit of a camber issue. On that side, it's a little bit, positive camber. On that side, also looks like positive camber, and it's also towed in quite a fair chunk. This side, it's towed in a little bit. On the rear, yeah, well, we got impacting with the tires, so that's going to hurt us with our straight line performance, which we actually saw quite a bit of. And I think we still have good camber there. I think we have a little bit of a toe in. And on this side, we have massive amounts of toe in and massive rubbing on fenders after that accident. Like, so much rubbing here that it's just rubbed through the fender. Oh, God. Okay, well, let's... I mean, I could probably have knocked a minute off this lap if I hadn't had that accident and then slow afterwards. Maybe even faster than a minute, maybe a minute and a half. But still, that wouldn't make me as fast as this. That's quite unfortunate. But let's see if there's one last final redeeming feature. This is obviously a car made by Ford. Now, it's maybe not Ford America, but it's a car made by Ford, so it's expected to do good on a drag strip. So we're about to see just how good it is. I mean, even if, it's not badged as a Ford, or the name which I give for Ford, I believe is Fjord. But yeah, let's see what we do here. We're at 10 seconds already, so it's not a blistering fast lap. Are we gonna get under 15? Oh, so very close, but that is actually still pretty darn good. I would probably say that this is one of my more favorited type cars. I do like this quite a bit, even if I do feel as if I kind of took my headlight design from that V8 or GT3 car, I think it was, that I did. Yeah. Also, the car is so rigid, you can tell that this thing doesn't have round wheels. And if you don't know what I mean by that, if you have a look down at the wheels, you can see here that the tires are actually triangles. Let's turn the mesh off. There you go. You can see that it's got square wheels, and this car is so rigid, you can see it like bouncing over the triangles. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.